Hello everyone, welcome to my review of the Knuckles series on Paramount Plus. And this series is obviously based on the character Knuckles from the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. And to be honest, I kind of get why Paramount made a show, because after the success of the first two Sonic movies, this was inevitable, especially in the world that we live in now, that everything needs to be the cinematic universe. You always have to make spin-off TV shows and everything like that. However, I will say this. Nobody planned for this to happen. Like, nobody planned for this to happen. And I can tell you why. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. It would help me out a lot. And also check out the Let's Play channel, linked in the description and at the end of the video, where I do Let's Plays, because that would also help me out. And I also do Sonic Let's Plays, like... what you are seeing right now on screen is actually from my Sonic Frontiers Let's Play. But yeah, so let us talk about what this show is actually all about. So, what is this show actually about? Well, Knuckles needs to find his place in the world. And, unlike what you might have believed at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, he needs to find his place on Earth, because he's the last of the echidnas, he doesn't have a home, and he needs a place on Earth. And at the end of Sonic 2, they made it pretty clear that this place was with Sonic and Tails. However, this show has also another plot line for Knuckles, which is that he needs to take on an apprentice. Because while he needs to find purpose, he gets an apprentice, and he takes on the Deputy Sheriff Wade Whipple as his apprentice. And now we come to what the show is really about. Now, in order for me to tell you guys what the show is really about, I made a little video that I will be playing right now about what this show is truly all about.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
Okay, man. We go bowling.
Yeah, bowling. This show is entirely about bowling. All good fun and games. You know, that's what you expect, when you get when they announce a Knuckles show. You expect bowling. Of all things, bowling to be the main plot line of the show. Now, I'm not lying here. Knuckles' plot lines, the two that he has, are about 30%, at max 40% of the show. But they are truly just 20% of the show. Then the bowling stuff and weight stuff is like 80%, 60 to 80% of the show. Because I've heard like different numbers from people. To me, it kind of felt like a 40 shot. But that's because Knuckles is in the scene and he says nothing. So, it's like, he is there. So, he is in the show. Knuckles isn't even the one who's gonna go bowling. Knuckles is not even gonna go bowling. Knuckles is just there for the Wade show. Because that is truly what the show is. This is, like, a more accurate title would have been Knuckles and Wade. I mean, I know people will say the more accurate title would have been Wade and Knuckles. But to me, Knuckles and Wade would have been more accurate. Because the show isn't really about Knuckles. He's a supporting character in his own show. What are you even talking about? A supporting character? However, let us talk fully about Knuckles. Because when he is on screen in this show, the show is fantastic. I will say this, by the way. The first 10 minutes of this show are perfect. Are absolutely perfect. It feels like a continuation of the Knuckles, of like the Sonic movies. And then we get, thrown into the Wade show. However, whenever Knuckles is on screen, the action, like when Knuckles is doing his thing, it's great. It is wonderful. I loved seeing it. I wanted more of it. And the show doesn't give me more of it. But like I said, he is great when he's on screen. And Idris Elba is perfect as the voice of Knuckles. Now, personally, as a Sonic fan from the before days, but Idris Elba does a really good job at voicing Knuckles. Like, I thought that in the Sonic 2 movie as well. However, I haven't made that review yet, so I can't praise the man in that movie yet. So I gotta praise him here, and he does a good job. Knuckles looks great. He's the exact same character that he was in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like, they did not dumb him down, kind of like Sonic Boom, where they make him absolutely the dumbest character ever. They make him Wade. Let's just be honest here. They turn him into Wade. They don't do that here. They don't. And I am so appreciative of it. Because it could have been so easy for them to just turn Knuckles into Wade. And have, not a good show. It's like, oh, look, Knuckles is dumb. No, he doesn't, just like in Sonic 2. He doesn't understand the Earth things. So Knuckles in Sonic 2, by the way. So Knuckles is just standing there. and he's reading the text between Donut Lord and Sonic, and he's going dot, 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 dot. It's like that. It does not make Knuckles stupid. He is smart. He is fighting smart. But he's smart. But he doesn't understand phones. So it's understandable. He doesn't understand technology. Just like when, you know, like, there's a little hologram of Sonic and Robotnik is just punching that little thing. And then Knuckles just smashes it and breaks part of the, like, the hologram. And it's like, Hedgehog smashed. It's like, that is something that Knuckles would do. Because he would literally believe that that is a tiny Sonic. So it makes sense. So in that sense, he is kind of dumb. But to us, he's dumb. But he's not dumb. He is smart. He knows how to fight. And to be honest, a better show would have been if he trained Tails and Knuckles. However, I will say this. The perfect show, because we're still in the Knuckles segment, the perfect show would have been a backstory on Knuckles. We get Knuckles' backstory in one episode. About the flames of disaster. But it's not in the way that you're expecting it. And Iblis actually makes a cameo. To all you Sonic fans, you probably noticed that too. Iblis right there. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's that stupid worm from Sonic 06, a game that everybody hates, but I will still defend by saying it has the best Shadow the Hedgehog story ever. Maybe until Sonic 3, who knows. But back to Knuckles, like I said, he is great, exactly the way that he's supposed to be. So, did you guys like Wade in this in the Sonic movies? You know, was Wade your favorite character? Well, go, I have good news for you, because he's throughout the whole show. And to anyone who hates Wade, well, he's actually throughout the whole show. Yeah, but this is the Wade show. And, oh boy, that will ruffle some feathers. I've already seen it online, and it ruffled mine too. I was like, what, why is this, what? Why? But we get to learn everything. Like, I didn't know that Wade was Jewish. Did they say that in the first two Sonic movies? Because the only thing I watched before this review was the second movie. So I don't know if in the first movie they say that Wade is Jewish. But Wade's Jewish. Great. We have a whole episode about a Shabbat, I think it's called. A Shabbat dinner. That is the whole episode. Why? Oh, like, that is not something that I would ever, like, I would never have put money on the fact that we were gonna get Jewish customs in a Knuckles show. Never thought. I never thought they would joke about Knuckles being Jewish. Never in a million years. But we do. We learn that Wade has a sister and a mother. Obviously he has a mother, but we learn about his mother, who is a character I very much like in the show. I will say that. I really like the mom in the show. I hate with an absolute passion the sister. I hate the sister. I hate her so much. And Wade to me is a character that works perfectly in those comedy sketches that they have in the Sonic movies, where it's like, cut to Wade, he does something funny, like, oh, you want some glaze on your donut? You know, I've tried everything to interrogate you, being good cop, bad cop, cop who offers donut, but nothing works. You know, like, in that stuff, he works, but he doesn't work when the whole show focuses on him. Sadly enough, he absolutely does not work. Like, the actor, Adam Pally, does a great job portraying Wade, and it seems like he's having a lot of fun with the role. I'm not gonna deny that, but his character works better as, you know, like, he's the comic relief character. He's the one that you cut to for a comedy bit and then leave again. You know, back to the main story. That's what it is. But here he's the entire show. Like, you need to think about it like this. You know the fears that you had when the first Sonic movie was announced? How afraid you were. And the first trailer came out, where it was like, okay, so the movie's gonna follow Donut Lord and Sonic is gonna be like a supporting character. Yeah, that's what this show is about. And while I did enjoy parts of the show, there are parts in this where I'm like, yeah, I like it. There's also parts that I just don't. Wade is one of them. I did feel bad for him in certain moments, because the show actually makes you feel bad for Wade. But throughout the whole thing, you're also like, where's Knuckles? Because he's just not in the show. And that's the biggest problem that I have with it. It's just, Wade needs to win this bowling tournament because he lost to a 5-year-old girl. And he needs his spot back on the team. This is for episode 1, by the way. This is like the introduction of Wade, so It's not really big spoilers. It's not like the end of the show. He's just too much in the show. I'll say that. And I also get why. Like, I want to talk about why right now. Why this happened. I mean, let's be honest here. Idris Elba, expensive star. Knuckles the Echidna, expensive CGI. So they had to cut costs somewhere. And apparently, according to what I have heard, or read anyway, Paramount is using an in-house animation team to make Knuckles and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in order to cut costs. But it seems like Knuckles and Idris Elba. This is also the problem with picking big stars. Like I said, in the Knuckles part, Idris Elba is great in the movie, in the show. He's great in the show. But if you went with an actual voice actor, he probably, you know, that voice actor probably, like even Dan Green. If you went with Dan Green, or even the one who does it right now, Travis Willingham did a really good job as Knuckles. But if you got him or Dan Green or even the new guy whose name is Dave B. Mitchell, you probably could have cut some costs there, because voice actors are probably not as expensive as the big named actors. You know, you probably could have focused more on Knuckles. But like I said, it was gonna be too expensive to do a CGI Knuckles. So, hey Paramount, this show is basically a reminder of what not to do. But anyway, let's talk about the villains next. Because, oh boy, the villains. Oh my goodness, the villains. Now, I will say this. They are as cartoony as they can be. So, if you like that, you're gonna like them. If you don't like that, you're not gonna like them. It's simple as can be. And I will say this. I don't even remember them saying the name of the villains. Like, we get the main bad guy, who's called the Buyer, I guess the new Robotnik. And just like whenever else Sega tries to replace Robotnik, yeah, it doesn't work. I've heard in the comics, like, they've tried to replace Robotnik and it just did not work. There was the whole comic book run where they tried to replace Robotnik and it just failed. But the Buyer, like, we learned nothing about him. He's just there to be a bad guy. He's just there so that in the final episode we can have a big fight and call it a day. Which still gets interrupted with bowling. Alright, so we have Scott Mescudi as Mason. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, by the way. A corrupt gun agent working for the Buyer. And we have Ellie Taylor as... what is that name? Willoughby? I don't know. Another corrupt gun agent working for the Buyer. And the Buyer is a former lackey of Dr. Robotnik who seeks to obtain Knuckles' power. Why? Nobody knows. But he does. Maybe to take over the world. Like, we don't get a motivation, we get nothing. Sure, why not? You could have had an interesting villain in this show. I mean, you make a show about it. You could have had an interesting villain. Instead of having the bowling tournament happening, whenever you need to save some money and cut away, you can cut to the Buyer. Or even to Tweedledum and Dumber, as I always called them. Throughout the whole show while I was watching it, I called them Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. Because that's what they were, basically, to me anyway. They are just, well, they're actually fun when they are on screen. They're actually fun. I like them, but also they overstay their welcome a lot of times. Once again, it's the comic relief character that just stays around for too long and then just goes over the top. And it kind of just falls flat, sadly enough. Like I said, I like them, but then it's like, okay, I don't like you anymore. But then when they come back later on, I'm like, yeah, oh, look, here they are, the Tweedledum and Dumber. And then, you know, they overstay their welcome again. And sometimes they don't, and I like it. But yeah, but that's about all I can say about the villains, because they are just there to fight, to cause action sequences, to have some funny bits. And if I talk about any other bad guy per se, which there is a not secret at all bad guy in, like, towards the end of the show. We get introduced to like another bad guy, but it's not a secret at all. Yeah, I feel like you're gonna be like, I was like, you're gonna be a bad guy, ain't you? You're gonna be a bad guy, aren't you? And yeah, turned out, yeah, the character was a bad guy. I'm not gonna say who, because that could be spoilers, but it's like, yeah. Next up, we have like some other characters that I could talk about. I mean, it is nice that the actors who portrays Maddie in the Sonic movies came back, because her scenes were great. Like I said, that first 10-minute opening is perfection, which is also directed by the guy who does the Sonic movies, which is why the quality is up there in the first episode. And then when he leaves, the quality goes down, because let's be honest here, they didn't know what to do with this show. They just wanted to make more money and also wanted people to go to Paramount. And instead of thinking like, how can we do Knuckles justice on like TV, they were like, make a show. I don't care. Okay, that's gonna cost too much. Make a wage show. Put Knuckles in it. We need a director. Anyone. And they were like, okay, you know, I'll do it for like $5. It's like, all right, here, hired. That's what it feels like. Also, the opening theme, they have the Warrior from Scandal. I liked it. I didn't think it was fantastic, but it fits Knuckles. It fits Knuckles. You know, he is a warrior, so it does work. Well, we got Jack Sinclair, a bounty hunter. Apparently his name is Jack Sinclair. I think they just call him Sinclair throughout the whole thing, or just Jack. I don't remember. But anyway, he's a bounty hunter in the show, and that sets up something that the payoff is kind of ridiculous. Like, he's a bit like every human character in the show is ridiculous. We also get Susie, the 8-year-old girl, and Wade's bowling rival, for crying out loud. He gets beaten by an 8-year-old. And, you know, we get the family, who the sister I hate, the mother I like. Because the mother's great, like, even towards the end of the show, like, the mother's still great. I like a supportive parent in the show, and Wade's dad left. So even if towards the end of the show, he becomes supportive, his mom was always there. Even though she wasn't the best mom either, because, you know, the sister still turned out to be an absolute, can't say it, but she is, no matter how you look at it. And then we get 2 newscasters before we talk about the big guy in the show. But yeah, we get 2 news characters from ESPN 8, the Akko, or whatever that is. Oh, that is actually a special program block. But anyway, they are there towards the end. You saw them in the trailers. They got some good moments, and that's all I can say, because they're not really that important. But Pachacamac, I think his name is, the deceased elder of Knuckles' tribe, who returns as a ghost. Yep, we do not just have Knuckles, we get another echidna in the show, the ghost of an elder. And to be honest, he's fun in the show. They're another good character in the show. Another compliment that I can give the show. And the CGI is fantastic in the show. Overall, it looks really good. It's like, it literally is a continuation from the movies. It's not like, oh, look, we have like a TV show, so we need to, you know, like lower the budget. It's like they kept the budget high by having Knuckles barely be in it. But Pachacamac is really fun when he's in the show. And Christopher Lloyd, who voices him, does a really good job. So yeah, that is another positive for the show right there. I'm digging for him. I am absolutely grabbing that shovel and starting to dig. But I liked how Pachacamac is in the show. And to be honest, he's the one that makes that Knuckles backstory episode tolerable. Because he's actually a funny character in the show. So there you go, positive. But yeah, so that is about it. So how about we move into final thoughts? Because I don't really have much else to say. I feel like I would have a lot more to say if this was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Because I will probably make a 15-hour-long video. And 15 of those hours are just talking about Shadow the Hedgehog. So, final thoughts on this show. My goodness. This show, man, it hurts. Because I want to love it. I want it to put it up there in like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, like the first 2 Sonic movies. They're just up high, because I love them. Alright? And yes, I know the wedding scene in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 exists, but it's not that bothersome to me. But Knuckles just isn't. It's all the fears that people had about the Sonic movie in show form. That's what it is. It's like the Transformers movies, I guess. The main character takes a backseat and is just here for action, and sometimes just shows up because of the fact, you know, that is what we're gonna do. And it's such a sad thing. There are good elements, like Pachacamac is a good element in the show. I like the corrupt gun agents. But also, this show is pointless, and that is also its biggest problem. The show is entirely pointless. Like, I watched it, and by the end I was like, did I have to watch this show? Because the answer to that big question is no. There was no need for me to watch this show at all. I feel like if you don't watch, to all the people who are not gonna watch this show, when I make my review in 10 years about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, comment down below, did you actually miss anything? Because I'm actually curious, because I'm the kind of person, I like this universe. So obviously I was gonna watch Knuckles. That's just how I roll. But it's like, at the end, I was like, this does nothing. Like, I will say this is a slight spoiler at the end, but it's about something that isn't there, so it's not really a spoiler. But we don't even get a tease of Sonic 3 at the end of the show. The show doesn't end with, like, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog escaping or something like that. No, we got nothing. However, while I am harsh on this show, there were elements that I liked. The comedy moments, some fell flat, some I liked. I love Knuckles and Pachacamac. I thought Wade was fine enough, but he overstays his welcome because he's the main character and he's not supposed to be. I thought the gun agents were fun, sometimes, but not all the times. It's once again, this show also has a problem with like things overstaying their welcome, because basically everything in this show is a comic relief character. Everyone except Knuckles, and it's so bad. Because it's like comic relief characters are supposed to be there for like a scene and then they should go away. And they don't. They are in the entire show. Like the sister is just a bully. And we get that throughout an entire episode. That is not good. Because that is just like a thing that he thinks about and then we cut to the next scene and fun. But no, it's just the whole episode. It's everything overstays its welcome. And I will say this, Paramount, if you ever think about making another show about and make it about Shadow the Hedgehog, don't do this. The people behind the Sonic movies, please. Just like that god-awful Sonic design that you showed off in the original trailer for the first movie, which could have been a market. I've seen people online say that, oh, but that's a marketing ploy. They did that on purpose. They showed off the bad design, and then here's the good design. Doesn't matter. Fix it. Fix it. Don't do this again. If you're gonna greenlight a show about, what, Shadow the Hedgehog, maybe a season 2 for Knuckles, maybe a Tails show, or whatever comes next, because, to be honest, we don't know if/when they're gonna introduce, like, Silver the Hedgehog, or Blaze the Cat, or Amy Rose, or Rouge the Boobs. The Bat. We don't know when those are gonna be introduced. I haven't lost my faith about the Sonic franchise because of just a Knuckles show. It's a Knuckles show. It's like, you know, basically saying that Sonic is dead because the Shadow the Hedgehog game wasn't that good. It's like, but that is technically a spin-off game for Shadow the Hedgehog, not a mainline Sonic game. It was mainline, but still, you get what I mean, right? Sonic wasn't the focus in that game. He was a background, a side character, a game that I love, and actually introduced me to Sonic, this Sonic franchise. That's funny, but I'm railing on it because I know the game ain't that good. I have fun playing the game, but the game ain't that good. But yeah, but it's kind of like, you know, saying that Pokemon is dead because Pokemon Go failed. It's like, but the mainline stuff can still make money. So no. Don't say that, like, don't lose faith in the Sonic franchise just because Knuckles is bad. If we get 3 bad shows in a row, okay, you can say that the TV side of Sonic is just dead and shouldn't exist. And I would wholeheartedly agree with you. This was a misstep. Everyone's allowed to make some missteps. It doesn't mean it's over. You just have to learn for next time. But I guess that is going to be it before I start to get too rambly, because I'm very good at being rambly. But I will say this, I am still stoked about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And even though this channel is mainly a Transformers channel, I will say this, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is my most anticipated movie of the year. I am so excited about it. Why is it coming out in December? I want it now. Or at least the trailer, give me. Final verdict for Knuckles is going to be 5 out of 10 because to me, like I said, the good and bad kind of thing. But this is also the best that I can give it. This is my highest rating I can give it because I was thinking a 6. But last night I rewatched Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and I was like, no, it's a 5. It's a 5. You can't make this a 6. You cannot be biased this time, okay? You gotta give it what it deserves. And it deserves a 5 out of 10. That's the highest I can give it. And that's me being positive. Like, I'm probably on the more positive side because I think this show is just average. But take this as a lesson on what not to do. Then you can have yourself a better future ahead, because you need to think about that too. You can make garbage right now, but it ain't gonna sustain you. Look at all the losses that the MCU is doing because of how many bad things they keep bringing out. For some reason, they keep coming out with bad stuff and people are sick of it, and now the MCU is losing it. Endgame was popular, so everything afterwards had the potential to be popular. But then they made bad stuff after bad stuff after bad stuff after bad stuff, and they just lost all the money. And that's what you need to think about. You can sustain this franchise. The Sonic franchise can sustain if you don't make it bad. Okay? If you make something bad, learn from it for next time. And if you're not gonna learn, don't make things anymore. The only thing we know is that Shadow the Hedgehog is in the next movie, and I am over the moon about that. I did not expect that. To be honest, I was expecting chaos. If I'm being honest here, I was expecting chaos to be the next movie. Because Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is, you know, the first thing. Then Sonic 2, the movie, was basically the Sonic 2 the game and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Basically kind of like combined together into the movie. Because we get the introduction of Tails, which was Sonic 2. And we get the introduction of Knuckles, which was Sonic 3. And then it's like, okay, what came after that? Well, we got Flicky's Island, and that wasn't a good thing either. Yeah. But yeah, after that, we got the Flicky's Island. And oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I wouldn't call that a positive. Like, how do you make a movie about that? But what did we get after that? We got Sonic Adventure. So it was like, oh, they're gonna do Sonic Adventure, the movie. That's what Sonic 3 is going to be. And then maybe Sonic 4 is gonna be Sonic Adventure 2. But no, they were like, who cares about Sonic Adventure? Maybe we'll do that in the next one. We're gonna give you Sonic Adventure 2. That's what we're gonna give you. And I am excited about that. But like in the future, I feel like Paramount is once again gonna make shows. And I will say, this probably was a very successful show. Because kids are gonna eat this up. That's because kids are stupid. They cast Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog. I need to hear him. Because to be honest, when they announced, I will talk about this too. Because, you know, I don't really make update videos or whatever. When they cast, like, when they were casting the people, I was like, okay, who are they going to do for Shadow the Hedgehog? I mean, Ben Schwartz does a great job as Sonic. Colleen, fantastic as Tails, but we all know that. She was fantastic in the games. Because Tails always had that weird voice throughout the games. Like, if you remember, throughout, like, Tails' adventures, he always had, like, a weird, like, voice actor. It's like, no one could really get it right. And then Colleen came along and was like, that is perfection. They better never change that voice. Idris Elba was great as Knuckles. So, like, they had my faith for the voice acting, but it was like, who are they gonna pick? And I saw some people fan casting about like who it could be, and who's that? Like people were like, oh, the actor who plays Anakin Skywalker in like the Star Wars prequels could be a good pick. And I was just like, what do you mean? Are you dumb or something like that? No, absolutely not. Have you seen those prequels? They aren't good. But then it was announced like last month that it was like Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow, and I was like, yes, we won, because Keanu Reeves is fantastic. He's a treasure. He and Henry Cavill are like national treasures. I will say that right now, because they seem to care a lot. So we got Mr. Matrix and Mr. John Wick being Shadow the Hedgehog, and John Wick is a very skilled fighter with guns and stuff like that, and then in Shadow the Hedgehog you get the guns. I love it. I can't wait to hear Keanu Reeves. When that trailer comes out, I will be doing a trailer reaction. But that has been my review of the Knuckles show, and I guess also a little bit of a rambly thing for Shadow the Hedgehog. But that's because he's my favorite character. So tell me down below, what did you guys think of this show? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you more in the middle like me? Because online, you either love it or you hate it. There's no like middle people. I'm a middle person. I'm like, it was fine. Like, the kids are gonna enjoy it, but it also wasn't really all that good. So it's like more like it's average. Meanwhile, other people are just like, it's garbage. But tell me down below, what did you guys think of this show? And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new or have not done so already, turn on notifications for whenever I upload, and don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel linked in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next review, whenever and whatever that's going to be, or even in the next video, potentially. Bye!